What's happening, everybody? A little bit about myself before I get started. I wear glasses. It's true, I'm not ashamed. I keep them right here on my face. Yeah. I like wearing glasses. The only thing I don't like about wearing glasses is a lot of times people will ask me to try them on. And I never want to let people do that, but I need to be liked by everyone I meet, so I always let them. Here's an annoying thing. If you don't wear prescription glasses and you put on a pair, you all have the same exact reaction. You go, wow, you're blind, my God. And I'm always like, well, not really, they work. I can't see. But that's extremely contextual, you know? Like, if you were to put my pants on a baby, you'd be like, you're obese, you're huge. Or if any of you were to come over to my apartment later, you'd be like, wow, you're poor, you're very poor. You're a very poor person. I'm in my 30s. I love being in my 30s. It's my favorite decade so far. You start to find the good and the bad of everything. Like, my hair's falling out, but my forehead's still growing. I've also noticed getting older, your hopes and dreams begin to plateau, but in like the best ways. Like anytime I see an apartment for rent that also comes with a parking space, I'm like, holy shit, what must that be like? I have to worry about parking? Or anytime I have a friend who says I need to dip into my savings a little, I'm like, whoa, savings. Here's where I'm at financially. You all seem like a nice group of people. I'm going to let you in on this. The other day when I was filling up my car with gas and I was watching the price go up and up and up, I was legitimately wondering how much money I could save if I sold my car and bought a horse. I was like, is that doable? How many days' ride is solving? Can I make that happen? I did make an important financial decision recently. I bought a money clip. I'm in my 30s. It's time. You gotta be careful with the money clip though, because you have all your business out there for everyone to see, especially with the cash. You gotta be careful with the cash. What I do is I roll it up in a way where all the ones are on the outside, so nobody knows about those 2 sweet 5s. I also those are just for daddy. Celebrated a pretty cool anniversary this week. I'm 4 years in therapy this week, which is pretty nice. Yeah, give it up for mental health. Does anybody else who's in therapy have that thing you feel like you gotta get a second therapist? So you can talk about how much you want to sleep with your first therapist? Is that just me? Okay. I found out something interesting the other day. My therapist doesn't go to therapy. She doesn't see anyone. She's in charge of my brain, but she doesn't get hers looked at. It's a little concerning. I feel like that would be like if you went out to a restaurant and you asked the server, what's your favorite dish? And they were like, oh fuck, I never eat here. No way. I wouldn't recommend. Anybody here who's in therapy, have you ever zoned out on your therapist? Now, it happened to me the other day. It's pretty brutal. I was talking about anxiety, and she started to give this analogy to me. She was like, well, you know, it's kind of like when you start putting water in a bucket, and then I just, I only realized I zoned out when she asked me a follow-up question, and I came back to. She was like, and then what happens with the water, Dylan? And I was like, it's mad at the bucket. Because I like the bucket. She was like, I'm going to send you for twice a week. Here's something I wish that people who took cold showers realized. Nobody cares. You can stop telling us. I have a friend who says, I take a cold shower every morning because if I can get through that, there's nothing else that happens the rest of my day that can be that challenging. And I'm like, boy, you must have the easiest life. If the hardest thing you go through is a cold shower by choice. And when do you see the dividends of that? I'm like, sir, I hate to tell you, your entire family's been murdered. Boy, am I glad I took that cold shower. Not so bad. Yeah. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre. Give it up for your bartenders, everybody. midnight oil in a coffee shop. It's pretty crazy. I bartended for 3 years and hated every minute of it. I was not a fan. Bartending when you don't like it is a lot like hosting a party where you invited none of the people. You're kind of just like, oh, you're back? Hi, hello, come on in. The job wasn't that bad. It was just little things would drive me nuts. Like every single shift, without fail, someone would come in and be like, hey man, what's good tonight? And I'd be like, we're a bar. It's the same at every single one. You know, we have beer, cocktails, and Law and Order on with subtitles for some reason. Come on in, take a seat. What's interesting too is the only job I had where the customers offered to buy me the thing that I was trying to sell them, which was a little strange. You know, people would be like, hey man, I'll take a Bud Light or whatever you're having. I used to work at a makeup store and nobody was ever like, hey, I'm going to get this nail polish and here's a little foundation for you, big fella. Cover them pores up. I've never gone to the movies that have been like, yes, 2 for Spider-Man, because guess what? You're coming with me!